Greetings. Let me do a sound and audio check, make sure we're good. Saturday.
At Select Fly.
Thanks for stopping by. Please hit the like button, by the way. Gotta get the likes up. Get the like button up, please. And I wanted to briefly talk about this. Thanks for stopping by. Please hit the like button. Audio's good. Stop by and talk about this situation. I'm going to show you some clips from people that were at the event, some witness accounts, and there's reports too that it's going around that supposedly people were getting injected. So supposedly a security guard as well. Make sure we're good here. What's up? What's up? Where's the chat? Why's it not showing up? But yeah, there we go. There was this horrible, tragic event that took place. It was this Travis Scott, this concert that they had in Texas. And so far, I mean, I don't know if the numbers have changed or not. So far, 8 people have passed away. This is just one lady's story, which I'm going to read to you. But supposedly, from what I've read, I've been kind of monitoring and watching this today. Supposedly, from what I read, people rushed. Like there was some sort of stampede or something. Or surge, what they're saying. And people kind of pushed to the front. And like people got squeezed and stomped. And just, I saw all kinds of people also passing out, having seizures, just all over the place. I mean, I'm sure at events like that, those types of things, somewhat when people are passing out is kind of normal, but not like this, you know? So let me read you this one story. I'm going to play you some clips. This is one lady on Twitter. She says, "This is my story, just a small glimpse of the night that was supposed to be fun, but turned into hell. Astroworld Fest, Astroworld, Travis Scott." And when what's his name, Juice WRLD, when Juice WRLD passed away and the whole situation happened, I've spoken about my previous experiences with partying, and I just gave my thoughts for the youth having gone through some of my crazy times. And I've still never spoken about my 2010 incident, which is one of the craziest times in my life. I may one day speak on it, but we'll see. We'll see. And so this lady here says, "Astroworld decided to share with everyone what happened, as last night was a complete nightmare. Last night I almost died. Seriously, I was in a crowd near the front. Travis just came on stage and the crowd got crazy. I was immediately pushed to the ground. I was flat on the ground. About 5 other people were on top of me. I was at the very bottom. I couldn't breathe. I was screaming for help. Please help me. Y'all are killing me." And literally in some of the video clips that I've seen, you could literally hear people like screaming like, help me. And, you know, they're just going on with the performance. Is what I screamed in fear that tonight could have been my last. I was being crushed, stepped on continuously for 2 minutes straight. Eventually, a random guy saw me struggling, his eyes opened wide, and he grabbed me, pulling me up, saying, "You need to get out of here." And that's what I did. I'm thanking God that I'm alive. And believe it or not, she's getting, I guess some people are criticizing her for thanking God because apparently everybody gets offended these days. You can't even be thankful to be alive because that's offensive to the people that don't believe in God. So she's being like somewhat canceled, like somewhat. Like she had to make a post and be like, "Hey, I'm respectful of people's beliefs, but I believe in God." Believe it or not, you know what I'm saying? They're always trying to get upset and are offended about everything. So God forbid that she's thanking God. You know, it's like, but anyway, he saved me. He heard me praying on the ground. "God, if I die here, please just take me to heaven." As I struggled for air, my lungs being crushed by people. 8 people have been confirmed dead. Please continue to pray for their souls. I mean, it's just a horrible situation. I've never really officially been to like a festival, kind of. I mean, I've been to like raves before. I don't know if you would consider that like a concert or festival. I've been to a couple of raves. Been to like one warehouse party kind of thing. I've never been to like a huge event. And I've been to space. And I remember one time when I was in space, there was like this special event. It was like a water thing, I think. No, not a water thing. I don't know what it was. It was or tie-dye. We had all these, whatever it was. But when I walked in there, like you can tell that this place was over capacity. I don't know if they were like paying people to not, like the fire department or whatever. Like they had some sort of something with the inside that they could clearly be over capacity, because I was walking in there and like you were like shoulder to shoulder. You could barely breathe. You literally had to push, and everybody's like pushing to get through. I didn't last that long in there. I actually found one spot in there that was kind of empty. The cool kids in the back with the sunglasses, you know. But I don't like that. I freak out like in really tight. That's why I don't like Miami. I stay away from Miami. Too crowded, too many crazy people. Let me show you this clip. I posted it on my Facebook. Oh, this was like just when things were kind of getting started. This was like the beginning. This happens a lot at places where, like, you know, the gates, people find a way to get in. The kids, they want to get in for free. Let me fix this real quick. I want to make sure the audio is not too loud for you guys. Okay. I mean, this guy's literally like punching the guy. I don't know why, but he's like punching him right here. Just chaos. And that was like the beginning. That's like the start of everything, right? Let me show you this other account, which you guys might have seen. I've watched part of this. This guy tells his story of like hell out there. By the way, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting like, por favor, it really helps the stream, helps get the algorithm out. I don't normally talk about this topic, but I have in the past, just because I see the youth and just my own experiences. And that's why one day, like I said, I'm going to share my experience because like back then I used to have a testing kit. I used to, you know, all kinds of stuff just to try to make sure that I was safe. I've heard multiple reports of people also, and this is no disrespect to the people that have passed away, because I don't know what happened. Just because those people that passed away died doesn't mean they were actually on drugs. They could have gotten just stampeded. They could have been injected. There's a bunch of different narratives going around. But there were reports of people buying substances as well at this place. I'm trying to find my... It was on my Facebook page. I'll find it. Let me play this guy and I'll find this other guy's story.
Like in fucking hell. It just felt like we was like literally like in fucking hell, bro. Like it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe, you couldn't see. Like, just imagine all the people they gonna find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out, and everybody was just trampling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be like at least 100 people who dead tonight. Like, I kid you not. Like, in the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted, and the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally trying.
And I heard that allegedly these people only had one defibrillator out there. One defibrillator. That's why everybody was just manually doing CPR. That's what I heard somewhere in one of the articles.
Black and blue. Like, I never seen death in my fucking life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 fucking people laid out dead. And like, once the medics tried to help them, they wasn't responding. They moved to the next person. It was nothing they could have do. Like, this shit really fucked me up and like really spooked me tonight. Like, that was like some demonic shit. Like, and what was so crazy, like, people were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott. They was like, help. The whole crowd was just going like, help, help, help. And he just kept going, bro.
And what I hear, like I said, I've never been to these performances, so I don't know like how all this stuff goes. But I hear supposedly that Travis has like 2 headphones in his thing, so he might have not been able to hear. But it definitely to me looked like he saw. And just to be fair across the board, I did see clips supposedly of Travis Scott stopping at a couple of parts of the performance and like, hey, check on that person. Hey, check on that. But a lot of people are saying this event should have just stopped it. Should have been completely stopped.
It was like, that shit was scary, bro. It was so demonic, bro. And mind you, y'all see the type of music I make. Y'all see everything, like, you know, like, I've been so heavily influenced by Travis, but like, after tonight, bro, like, God really showed me, like, you know, like, stay away from that shit, bro. Like, that shit not for you, because like, he sacrificed so many people's lives tonight, like, for real. Like, so many people's lives are gone tonight because they want to go to a fucking Travis Scott concert and have fun. You know, he influenced people to be raging and all this.
And that's what I hear too. He does. It's like the rage thing. I also think that's a young thing, but he does like encourage, like, yo, go crazy. I want to see somebody go wild. You know, entertain, like, for entertainment purposes. And I've seen a lot of crazy stuff just today and looking at the different various clips. He turns up, Travis, but so does the crowd. I mean, there was people I saw too, jumping on the ambulances. Like the ambulance was trying to get through the crowd, and there's people like jumping on top of it and like dancing. I think I saw one guy doing that.
This shit, so many people broke in, and it was just chaos, bro. It was a living fucking hell, bro. Imagine seeing all those dead bodies, and that was just by me.
This guy's JW, I am John W2 on Twitter. He posted that. I thought that was really interesting, that insight. Yo, Clutch said, thank you for covering this. Was there... Oh, I just lost it. Damn it. Oh, no, I lost it. There it is. Thank you for covering this. Was there last night. Felt like hell. There was legit no space for one to even breathe. I had to get pulled in front. Was trying to help those screaming help and get out. There was a clip, hopefully I have it still, where I see people trying to escape and get out. That freaks me out, man. I do not like those types of environments at all. AUDGE, thank you for the super chat. Reports of people injected. Sent you the vid on Facebook. All right, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna while I look at that, and we are gonna talk about that because well, let's do that right now real quick. I pulled up a short clip. They did have a press conference. I don't know if we'll see if you guys want to hear it or not, because people probably heard it already. But this is just a shorter version, and he speaks on the injections. Check it out.
This has not happened to us ever in Houston since I've been a police officer, and we take pride of it. And we're going to get down to the bottom. A lot of narratives out there right now, a lot of them on social media, and even last night.
Oh,
I think that all of us need to be respectful of the families and make sure that we follow the facts and the evidence. And that's what we're trying to do here in the Houston Police Department. I will tell you, one of the narratives was that some individual was injecting other people with drugs. We do have a report of a security officer, according to the medical staff that was out and treated him last night, that he was reaching over to restrain or grab a citizen, and he felt a prick in his neck. When he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan. He was revived, and the medical staff did notice a prick that was similar to a prick that you would get if somebody's trying to inject. That is one part of it.
and that's why you should be kind of careful to the judge, as far as like the people there, the people that have passed. Because I know people on the internet. The internet's crazy. We don't know fully yet. They have to get the cause of deaths. You know, were some of those people injected? Did this cause hysteria where people started running all over the place? But this at least is interesting and credible that they saw it themselves, that there was some sort of injection. And somebody did send me an article. I don't know where it's at anymore, but this is like a new, I don't know if it's not a new thing, but it's a trending thing now. Like it's coming back where now people are going to parties, they're going to clubs, and people are walking up on people and injecting them and then making them unconscious and doing all kinds of whatever. There was an article that was really good. It was sent to me, but it's in the abyss now.
The other thing that's very important, there were some individuals that were trampled, and we want to be respectful of that. But we just ask that y'all give us time to do a proper investigation. Live Nation has stated from the very beginning that they would cooperate. They're going to give us the video sometime this evening. I spoke to my commander in homicide. So we're waiting to get that. That's going to help us. But I also want to call out to the community, kids and young individuals that was out there. If you see something, say something. This is now a criminal investigation that's going to involve our homicide division as well as narcotics. And we're going to get down to the bottom of it.
And I wonder what they were injected with. Let me show you this post real quick. Because I've been posting on Facebook too, and somebody shared there. I'm not going to show this, but you can see it on Facebook. There was a fight. There was fights going on out there, all kinds of insanity. You know, it's a mix of everything. But this person, Akimbo, said, my roommate says there was a guy jabbing people with a needle, injecting them with it, and after a few minutes, fall to the floor. Also a bad batch of Molly. And this is like, this is why I want to talk about my experience one day too. But just for any of the young people, one of the number one rules when you're partying and you're taking pills and all sort of stuff, Never buy stuff at an event. Never. People do it all the time still. People do, I've done it, but you really shouldn't, because one, that person could be selling out as much as they want. They don't have any responsibility to you, because they're just going to probably disappear. They'll probably never see you again, versus to somebody that you're going to on a regular. And at a place like this, you're probably not going to be able to test it. I mean, you could bring a testing kit. It's going to be hard to do. Somebody like this is going to make bank in that one night, sell to as many people as they can, and get the hell out. So this, according to this person, also a bad batch of Molly laced with fentanyl was going around. Hence, Narcan, opioid, right? It's for opioids. That's a possibility. Maybe this is part of what was going on. His people say body count is 100, not 9. I don't know. World Star clips and comments. The news is covering up. No fights on the news. And he said this reminds me of the 2000s when people were going around the club with HIV-filled syringes and would jab people or use it as payback. It's silent, just a little ouch, and you walk away. It was real. Just like bitter people trying to affect people with HIV because they got it. I seen it happen in 1997 as the razor blades in NY. You just feel a little ouch and they walk away. The other thing too, we got some more witnesses, but it says here, and this is kind of the same, I think this is the same story, but it says he was reaching over to restrain or grab a citizen when he felt a prick in his neck. He went unconscious. They administered Narcan. He was revived, and the medical staff did notice a prick similar to a prick you would get if somebody was just trying to inject. It was unclear what drug was injected into the security guard, although Narcan is used to revive people who overdosed on opioids, including fentanyl. It's like one of the saving graces, if you're overdosing on that type of substance. There have not been any reports of concert goers being injected with drugs. It also remains unclear if that incident was connected to the deadly crush that also left 25 in the hospital. So we still don't know. There's a lot of different things going on. We know at least one person, one security guard that's saying that. And if it happened to him, I would think that it would have to happen to others. Why just him? Crystal Conrad, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Let me play. I found this nurse, ICU nurse, where she's talking about what happened. Let's check it out.
Can you spell it for me just to make sure we have the correct spelling?
MADELINEESKINS.
So tell me about your experience at the concert tonight, starting just before this happened.
We got there a little bit later, probably around like 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
And this is from Fox 26, Houston, Denise Middleton.
And we got one drink each. She got a beer. My boyfriend got a beer. I got some mixed drink they were selling. And we weren't really interested in anybody that was performing at the smaller stage. So I said, let's go get a good spot for Travis Scott. This is the third time I've been at Astroworld Festival. I was there for the first year in 2018. I went in 2019. Did not have one in 2020. So I went. So we went and tried to find a good spot at the stage like I do every year. It was fine at first. People were sitting down trying to hold their spots in line. It was still daylight, but that was like 6:15, 6:30. As it got closer to 8:30, 8 o'clock, people started, crowding, got kind of tight, got kind of packed. 8:15, more crowded, more tight, more packed. We couldn't really move around a lot. We were a little bit towards the front. We were about 4 feet away from the fence to the right. There was an alleyway in between the left and right side of general admission for the photographers and for people to walk that were, I guess, celebrities and stuff, and for security. We were about 4 feet away from that fence. So at 8:30, he started a countdown on the main screen, like a timer, till he performed what it was for. And when he started the timer, people started pushing. They'd push forward, and then other people would push back and forward and back. As the timer got closer to 0, it got really, really bad. I I couldn't even turn my head to tell my boyfriend anything. I mean, we were packed in there, so I had people shoving me from behind, shoving me from the front on both sides. It's getting really hard to breathe. I was trying to like jump up and lift my head up so I could get air. And whenever he started performing, I looked at my boyfriend. I tried to look at my boyfriend. I only got about this far. And I told him, I said, we have to get out. We have to get out. And he said, we can't. Because we couldn't move. We could not. You couldn't go forward, backwards, to the side. You couldn't do anything. The only way to go was up. I remember I was about to tell my boyfriend to tell my son that I loved him, because as it went on, it got to the point where I was like, I'm going to die. Like, I really, truly thought that I was going to get crushed to the point where my trachea was going to get crushed, my chest. I thought I was going to die. So I fainted. I think it was, I don't even remember what song was playing. I don't remember anything. I just know that he had just started. And I fainted. And per my boyfriend and a gentleman that reached out to me on Instagram and said he helped my boyfriend, they basically crowd surfed my unconscious body 4 feet to the right to a security guard, because after trying to get from my boyfriend, he said that he tried to get your attention and you just couldn't, because they were carrying so many people over, that finally him and a just good Samaritan that happened to be there lifted me up, and they just crowd surfed my unconscious body over to the security guard. I came to for a little bit, and I was sitting, and the fence was behind me, the crowd, and I was in that little walkway area, and I looked up, and I passed out again. And then when I woke up, I was in a different part. I was in like the VIP area, and I woke up with a bottle of water in my lap. Essentially what had happened was the security guard dropped me off and sat down, and then went and ran back to get more people in and out. So once I sat there for a minute, I drank my water, looked around, there were people being carried back and forth. And then I stood up and I was about to go, look for my boyfriend. I had no phone service. I tried to call him, I couldn't call him. I look and they're carrying this guy out, and they're about to set him down. And I noticed he looked really bad. His eyes were rolled in the back of his head. He was completely limp. He did not look good. I asked the security guard, I said, have you checked the pulse on this man? He said, I don't know how to do that. He's like, please help. So I checked the pulse. I did not feel a pulse. His eyes were rolled in the back of his head. His pupils weren't reacting. I shined my flashlight in there. I said, do not drop him off here to go get someone else. You need to go take this man to the medical tent. Take him somewhere. Go. I cleared the way. Another security guard overheard me say, because at first, before I told him that, let me rewind. I told him, I was like, I'm an ICU nurse. I've worked in the ED before. I have experience with this. Like, let me help. Instead of just trying to shove through me. The other security guard had overheard me tell the security guard that. So he came to me, he said, hey, we need your help up here. So he took me to the front of I think I was in the VIP area. There were 2 towers beside me that people were standing on, and also where the light crew was on either side. And I walk up, and I mean, nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. Nothing. I mean, I work in the ICU. I see people die every week. When I was working in the ER, we get people coming to us that are, have CPRs in progress all the time. I saw 3 people laid out on the ground, and maybe 4 medics doing CPR on 3 people. One of them was Blue, the guy that looked the worst. I ran over to the medic and I said, do you have an AED? Do you have an ambu bag? What do we have? How long have you been doing concussions? I just started asking her questions. She said, I don't know. I said, has anybody relieved you from concussions? She's like, no. There were other civilians trying to help do CPR that didn't know how. I mean, teenagers, 19 years old. I asked him how old he was. 19 years old trying to do CPR.
There was a lot of young people at this event, like underage, like under 18. I mean, like somebody said previously, I heard like 10, 11 at this event.
18. I mean, I'm only 23 myself, but still. So I take over compressions. As I'm doing compressions, I'm asking the medics around me. I said, where do we have an AED? Do we have do we have an ambu bag, which is to give them breaths? I said, what do we have? Do we have an IV kit? So I can put an IV. Do we have meds, like epinephrine to give them? They were like, we have 180. We have nothing. We have 180 and it's over there. And I look, there's a woman, as we're doing questions, she's got pads on her, the shock pads is the best way to explain it. They found the ambu bag, they brought it to us. And so someone started giving him breaths as I was doing compressions. I told them the medic, I don't know what they were. I don't know if they were paramedics. I'm not sure what they were. Some of them seem to have some experience. Some of them seem to have little to none experience with this situation. I looked at him. I said, I need you to find a femoral pulse, because the man was very heavy. It was hard to get a carotid pulse. There's a lot of adipose tissue, fat tissue. I said, I need you to get a femoral pulse up by the groin. He said, I can get a radial pulse. I don't know where that is. I said, no, you need a femoral pulse or a carotid. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. So since he knew how to give compressions, I had him take over compressions, felt for a pulse. Whenever we did pulse checks, there was no pulse checks going on. It was madness. It was madness.
And somebody said in the chat, only 2 hydration stations going on. Wow. I saw I mean, if we do get to it and we watch it, if you guys want to, after I'm done showing you all the stuff, we could watch the press conference. I mean, the press conference, they state that supposedly they were nowhere near max capacity. I think they said the capacity was like 200,000, I think. I forgot what they said they were at. I mean, all the stuff I've seen, at least that area by the stage, super packed, you know?
They pulled someone over the rails. After I found some other nurses or medical staff that were in the crowd, they identified themselves as such, started jumping in to help with compressions so we could, relieve the medics that had been doing it for, I don't even know how long. I have no idea how long these people had been pulseless. They started bringing more bodies over. They started trying to do CPR on someone. I said, you have got to check a pulse before you do CPR. If they have a pulse, you don't do CPR. You'll break ribs and just make the situation worse. Checked a pulse on a guy that they started doing CPR. I said, no, he has a pulse, get him out of here. There was only one stretcher. These were big people. We weren't able to get people out. All we could do is just try and keep them awake. And I just keep them alive to the best of our abilities. We had someone else come over. I checked him, no pulse, started CPR on him. I mean, it was madness. And you still have people recording the concert, recording us doing CPR, recording the concert, dancing. And then meanwhile, you have others that are climbing up the tower to the staff that's in charge of the lighting and saying, stop this, shut it down.
Right,
trying to,
right. I saw that.
Shut the concert down. Nothing was being done. It was absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I am disturbed. Honestly, it should have been stopped. It should have been stopped.
How long did that whole process go on with you helping
Maybe
CPR?
45 minutes total with like everything going on, maybe an hour. I'm not entirely sure.
How are you feeling this morning, thinking back on everything? I mean, you mentioned you didn't think you were going to survive.
I'm just glad that if my boyfriend would not have gotten me out of there, I don't know what would have happened to me. I'm really thankful that he got me out of there so I could go help others. I tried to find him at first before I got dragged into the CPR madness, but luckily I saw that he had called me, so I knew that he was at least alive and conscious, but I couldn't call him back. I didn't have any cell service, so I figured my resources would be more useful trying to help.
Now, you said you were unconscious at some point, but your boyfriend, I'm assuming, saw what happened. Does he know how this all started? Was there a fight that broke out? I mean,
no, it was just everyone rushing the stage to see Travis perform. I've been to all 3 Astroworlds, and something like that usually happens whenever the performer goes on. People kind of go forward. But this was completely different. It was way too many people. It was packed before it even started. It was insane.
Did you feel like there was enough security there for that crowd?
Not at all. There wasn't enough medical staff. There wasn't enough security. Even, security was trying to get to people. They couldn't get to anyone because the crowd was entirely too big. I mean, I couldn't move my arm. So there was no way another body was getting in there. They were trying, but they couldn't.
And, there's reports of one of the victims being as young as 10 years old.
No. There's no place for a child.
How are you?
I don't know what these kids are doing at these events. I mean, I guess that's like a parenting choice or something. I don't know what you would why you be bringing a 10-year-old, and some people in the chat said even younger, to an event like this. Also, I see people in the chat talking about water expand. That I've known about that from a long time ago too. When I used to go to some of these places, they purposely charge more on water because they know that people are on substances, and so I guess it's a supply and demand type of thing, and so they raise the money up a lot. I see you looking, Andrews. Thank you for the members super chat. This is crazy. Thanks for covering this, Mel. Yeah, for sure. I've been kind of sitting on this all day, and I was like, let me just wait to see what develops. It just reminded me of my days back partying, but I've never had anything like this. I mean, I had a crazy one time, this crazy thing that happened, but nothing like this. Like the whole, crowd. And C87 baby, thank you for the super chat. Over 2,000 watching. Support King. Hit the thumbs up. He brings awareness from all around. Thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. And yeah, the thumbs up helps a lot. But that's just wild, man. It's a crazy
feeling about the victims who have lost their lives at a concert.
I feel very angry. Travis acknowledged that something was happening in the crowd. He acknowledged that there was an ambulance. He acknowledged that someone was passed out, and then just continued the concert. I'm angry about that. I'm disappointed in how everything was handled. I'm disappointed that the medical staff that was there was not truly medical staff. They're
saying it's an all ages event. And I would just think, me as a parent, I would never think to bring my child to a 10-year-old to a Travis Scott concert. But I guess this day and age, 2021, everything's different. They don't even tell their kids to look both ways when they're crossing the road. Especially here in Florida, every time I'm driving around, these people just walk, even if it's not their right of way, they just walk into the middle of the road. They don't even look. And I'm like, this must be a different day and age, because I remember back in my day, they were always telling us, look both ways. These people walk out into the road like the world revolves around them, and if they get hit, well, maybe they'll get a some sort of lawsuit or whatever. They say 10-year-olds go to Coachella as well. Bro, that's crazy. These are events that we know people are going to be on drugs. I personally wouldn't take a 10-year-old to something like that.
Little to no experience in this.
But again, I don't have a 10-year-old. Who knows? Are the kids at 10 now asking, Daddy, I want to go see Travis Scott? Then are you in a situation, maybe they're taking their kids supervised. Say maybe a year or two, not a year or two, for like 10 years down the line, they're going to be like, oh, look at iCkEdMeL with his daughter. I mean, I personally, I wouldn't even go to something like that. I don't like that kind of thing myself. It's just too much, too crowded.
Some of them had little to no experience in this type of situation. It's very unfair for them to be the ones that are, responsible for doing this. I mean, everyone looked to them to provide medical care when they had, not a lot of experience in this field. I'm upset that people are saying that this was all drug related. There's rumors that someone was running around with a needle injecting people with drugs. I never saw that. I'm not an expert in, toxicology. I have no idea how to tell if these people were truly overdosing in that given situation. But I will say that me, as someone who did not do any type of drugs, does not do any type of drugs, that I could have very easily been one of those people because I was getting suffocated. Suffocation can lead to cardiac arrest. And they were saying that these individuals were trampled. Because once you fell in that pit, that crowd, it was almost a death sentence. So, I mean, if you fell, you weren't getting up. So if these people got trampled at 100, could they have had drugs in their system? Probably. There's 50,000 people there to party. But do I think that this was primarily drug related? No. They're saying, oh, it's fentanyl. It's fentanyl-laced drugs. Everybody, it just doesn't make sense to me if that was the case. Everyone started to die and pass out whenever Travis came on the stage. Did the drugs just kick in for everybody when Travis came on the stage?
And you mentioned that you've gone to his concerts before, and I've heard people talk about this wave where people are moving left to right. Has that ever happened at his previous concerts before he gets on stage?
Yeah, sometimes people are moving, left going up and backwards, but it wasn't as compacted as it was yesterday. I mean, I had room to breathe at the other concerts. Yesterday, none. If my boyfriend let me hit the ground, he said he kept me from falling whenever I fainted. If he would let me hit the ground, I think that I would have been one of the people in the hospital or worse.
Wow. And before you go, you mentioned you're an RN. What hospital do you work at?
I work at HCA Kingwood.
Okay.
It's in North Houston.
They'll probably fire her for talking.
Okay. Have you heard of any of the victims? Do you know any of their names?
No, I would like to know who they act. Someone messaged me and said it was one of the victims was his best friend's older sister. I had someone reach out to me and say their daughter was one of the people that passed away. Someone reached out to me asking me if I knew the people I was doing CPR on because she hasn't heard from her daughter in 6-7 hours.
Wow.
And that was, in the middle of the night. I don't know how long it was truly, probably more than that now. I don't know any of those people. I really, hope that at least one person that I was hoping made it, just at least one. But it was one of the gentlemen he was blue. He had been pulseless for at least 15 minutes while I was there doing CPR on him. So I don't know how long he was pulseless before that.
That is so sad. To have that image in your head still this morning, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like I said, I work in the hospital. I work, with people that go into cardiac arrest. I mean, this was more terrifying than anything I've ever seen.
Let me show you a little bit of the video too. And I saw you guys in the chat mentioning, which is a really great point, I think, with regards to Travis and Fortnite. Like I guess you guys were saying he did like an event, right? Or something. He partnered with Fortnite. Because doesn't he have a character in Fortnite? Or like some sort of dance move in Fortnite or song in Fortnite? So he has an audience to kids, and so I guess naturally there's going to be kids out there. Yeah, Travis Scott and Fortnite astronomical concert event in 2020. So I guess he has a big kid audience. I'm not going to let the music play, but this is supposedly people trying to escape. He did have a in-game concert. Ah. So there's like the gate right here, and people are trying to pull people over, I guess, to get him out. It seems like. I couldn't even do this in my younger days. If I seen something like this, man, besides that one space experience, because I paid, it's kind of, I didn't know what I was getting into. I mean, there was a huge line. But even at my younger age, I wouldn't want to walk into something like this. There's the lady we just spoke about too, that she was pushed and stomped on. This is the guy we just watched. Oh, let's check this out too. I didn't get to see this. Somebody was asking me too, like, as far as like what do I think or whatever. I think that there's going to be definitely lawsuits. I think that there's definitely some sort of responsibility, I think, on the people that held the event, especially if they didn't have enough people, security. I didn't watch the whole event, but like, maybe if there was incitement and stuff like that too, maybe they can use that. I also think that some of the people, and we got to wait and see, because we're also, we spoke about the security guard, which in the press conference, they mentioned the security guard said that he was pricked, and the guy that went to help him, I think it was a medical person that gave him Narcan, they said they actually saw the injection where like in his neck or whatever, like where somebody pricked him. But at the same time too, it's a lot of crazy people. I would say that the event is partly responsible, depending on, we got to see what happens. But at the same time, there's a lot of crazy people too. There's some nutty ass people out there. Some of these people that are acting wild, they have no kind of training, they're nutty too. Some of them people, not all of them. I can't say all of them. But there's people out there that have like no regard for human life. They'll stomp on you, they'll step on your face and walk right over you and move closer to Travis Scott. But I have to see. I haven't seen the full thing. I don't know if Travis was out there. Hey, yeah, get him, get. Because I saw one video with Travis. He claimed somebody stole his shoe. It was at a different event, and he was like, get him, and like they were beating him up. Everybody jumping this guy. I was like, holy crap, damn.
And you move with one. It becomes like an organism.
Yeah, these were fans early when they were all sneaking in. They trampled everything.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Is that the one where they broke the gate, right?
So,
and there's kids buried under the gate.
I remember me, him,
Security guard couldn't stop.
and a couple other our friends. We were just hanging on to each other because
we were
Once
last
you get
on,
separated, it's
lost.
It's lost.
I had to. When he falls, I would come back to pick him up.
Yeah.
If I would fall, he'd come back and pick me up. It's not a one-man show. It's really everybody.
You know, I wasn't.
You were hanging on to each other because if you let go, you.
Yeah, if you
I'll
let
never
go,
see the
it's
rest of the
like,
night.
because you could easily drift apart. It's like being in water. It's weird. You literally just drift apart in the crowd. And I ended up.
Can they sue? Can they do lawsuits? Somebody said you can't sue. I'm gonna get the super chats too in a second. Thank you so much, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys joining Friday night. We're gonna be on Discord too tonight, members area. Stephanie, my favorite guy, finally able to catch you live. Love your channel. Keep doing what you do. I'm from Texas. This was insanity. Thank you so much. Yeah, you won't catch me on something like this. No way. Especially now in this day and age, at my age too. Hell no. Too many crazy people.
In the middle of the crowd. And mind you, us four, we stay here together. We were separated the whole day. And I ended up seeing this guy in the middle. And while I was in the middle, you know, obviously everybody's opening up mosh pits. We're having a good time. But there's a lot of people that are very selfish. There's people that I saw a pit that was being held together by people, but because in the pit was people that fell. So they were standing together to help the people get up. And I witnessed somebody unconscious struggling to get out. Like their friends were trying to get him out, and just people weren't caring enough to like make a path. So as I'm a 400-pound guy, so I jump in because that's just my instinct. And I just make a path for him. And on my way back to the middle, I meet a girl that's hyperventilating. So instead, like, you know, I couldn't tell her, hey, calm down. I immediately just grab her, and I'm rushing back. And, you know, closer to the VIP section, that's when EMS was doing what they were doing with those visuals.
It's a struggle.
That's what I'm saying. There's some people out there that'll see you struggling, people stomp on you, and they'll just keep walking. And there's some people out there that will push some of these people out of the way. They'll push them to the floor. So I think there's a lot of different things that are going to have to be investigated. They said it's a criminal investigation, you know, especially with this injection thing. I totally believe there was a whole pushing thing too going on for sure. I mean, the nurse just said it, which if there is a trial or some sort of lawsuit thing, I'm sure they're going to probably use her or call her as maybe a credible witness if they verify her job and employment and stuff.
Because it's not you and a clear path. It's you.
Travis, he has. I'll pull it up, actually. I'll pull it up.
And then the person next to you wanting to have fun.
Yeah.
The person across from him wanting to fight
It's
some
a lot of
random
selfishness.
person. And it's everybody for themselves, where if I see that you're saying, oh, I want to leave, I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I'm saying, back up.
People wait
Let
for
them
you to
out.
have this look of concern to do something. Right. When you should just take their word seriously. You know? Like, not for nothing. Like, it is a fun event, but there's just people that careless people that just come and ruin it.
That's like this.
You know?
Well, in the front, there was definitely a lot of jumping. If you didn't jump, you were going to fall. And you would get trampled on, definitely.
So the crowd's pushing
Yeah, the
towards
crowd's
you guys?
pushing back and forth. Like, you needed to, if you were even a little bit tired, you were going to fall. It was just too insane.
And it's,
Lewis said, bro, I've been to 4 Travis shows. He does what he can do. It's just people nowadays. We're going to listen a little bit to the press conference because they kind of explain some of the things that happened. I think that there's going to be a lot of finger pointing as well, because now, especially with, I'm pretty sure there's going to be lawsuits. People are going to want to be pointing to this person, that person, because they're not going to want to take accountability. But definitely, I would think, and again, I'm not an expert. I've never even been to something like this big. I would think that you are responsible if you're hosting an event to make sure it's at least safe. I mean, you can't control people if you're going to start acting up, but at least safe environment. I mean, those people that died too, what were their circumstances? And were the people did they even get help? Were they just left to die? This nurse was saying that one of those medical staff didn't even know how to check a pulse. Whoever it was over there, they couldn't even check a pulse. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, you do bear some sort of responsibility, but at the same time, you know, we don't know about this whole injection thing. Was there really somebody, at least one security guard said there was, going around injecting people? Did that cause mass hysteria? Yeah.
so you tried to get your buddy out,
Yeah, so
'cause he
my buddy was
having
there, and he
trouble.
was already passing out. I saw him, I noticed him on someone's back, and then right away he said that he wanted to go, and I just helped him out right away.
Was he passing out from people crushing him
He-
forward?
he just looked very tired. I think it was from people because there was too much pressure. You barely had like breathing space.
At these festivals, when you're up there, they have hydration stations.
Yeah.
Where you fill up your Camelback, but when you're up there for hours and you run out of water, that walk back is it's a fight.
Yeah.
Damn. And then to try to get out of there, like he said, once you're in this place and you want to leave, it's like impossible to leave. This was too, I'll play part of this, but you can clearly hear, and there's other clips on Twitter if you go look for yourself. It's very graphic. I'm not going to play the graphic stuff, but you can see people having seizures, dropping out, people being carried away.
That's okay with you real quick. Face me, let's do it. That's okay with you real quick.
She's saying there's someone dead, there's someone dead.
Face me, let's do it.
It's craziness, man. Now, the ambulances thing, I'm told, is kind of normal, but I did see video of the ambulance, like people on top of it. And, you know, I really think, too, like some people are saying partly, too, some of it is society as well, where we're going, where we're at. I mean, sometimes I'm driving on the road, and you know how normally functioning people, you see a cop car with the sirens on or an ambulance, wee, right? And you would think, hey, let me move out of the way because maybe there's somebody's life that needs saving. They're either trying to reach somebody or they're trying to get somebody to the hospital. There's people that block these people, don't get out of the way. They give the ambulance a hard time, or they take forever. They take forever to move. And I just think sometimes to the parallels of how people are just so desensitized, I guess, that they don't bear those common, I don't know, thoughts of just human compassion, you know, of somebody needing help. This is the same clip, I think.
Y'all were in there, bro. Shut the fuck up. Exactly right. Y'all weren't in there. People are fucking dying. I want to say something.
People are dying.
That's somebody's kid.
Two hands to the sky.
I want to save them.
Two hands to the sky. Two hands up, y'all. Two hands up.
I mean, whatever lawsuit they're planning on doing, they could pull up all these clips, whatever attorney it is, or whatever they're planning on doing, pull all this stuff up so they can show, hey, we've been telling you guys somebody's dead. There's people dead here. We're asking for help, and you guys did nothing, you know, according to some of these clips. I mean, I'll play this clip one more time, and then we'll look at the a little bit of the press conference. And condolences to the people that passed away. I mean, I couldn't imagine dying like that, just at some sort of event where you're trying to go have some fun. You know, whether it's being crushed by people or substances.
It just felt like we was like literally like in fucking hell, bro. Like it felt like we was in a concert in hell. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't see. Like just imagine all the people they're gonna find tonight who was in that crowd, who nobody could see, who nobody could hear, who passed out. And everybody was just trampling on top of them the whole fucking concert. Like, I'm thinking it's probably gonna be like at least 100 people who dead tonight. Like, I kid you not. Like, in the VIP section, it was so many bodies laid out. People was getting pulled out who was fainted, and the medics were trying to give them CPR, and they was flipping them over, and like they was literally turning black and blue. Like I never seen death in my fucking life, bro. Just by me alone, it was probably like 10 fucking people laid out dead. And like once the medics tried to help them, they wasn't responding. They moved to the next person. It was nothing they could have do. Like this shit really fucked me up and like really spooked me tonight. Like that was like some demonic shit. Like, and what was so crazy, like people were screaming help, trying to tell Travis Scott. They was like help. The whole crowd was just going like help. And he just kept going, bro. It was like, that shit was scary, bro. It was so demonic, bro.
And they said the 10-year-old is in critical condition at the crowd, following the crowd surge. They're calling it a crowd surge, where I guess people started pushing forward. We're going to see, too, I mean, what happens with the cause of death for these people that have passed away.
And mind you, y'all see the type of music I make. Y'all see everything, like, you know, like I've been so heavily influenced by Travis, but like after tonight, bro, like God really showed me, like, you know, like, stay away from that shit, bro. Like, that shit not for you. Cause like, he sacrificed so many people's lives tonight, like, for real. Like, so many people's lives are gone tonight because they want to go to a fucking Travis Scott concert and have fun. You know, he influenced people to be raging and all this shit. So many people broke in and it was just chaos, bro. It was a living fucking hell, bro. Imagine seeing all those dead bodies, and that was just by me.
I don't know. I wonder if he ever posted a full.
It just felt like we was like literally.
I guess he's back to normal life. The Travis Scott. Let me show you guys two real quick. The Travis Scott post before we get to the press conference. Which I don't even know if we'll listen to the whole thing. We'll just listen to some of it. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But he made a post 7 hours ago and he said, I'm absolutely, and I'm sure somebody, PR team probably posted this. I'm absolutely devastated by what took place last night. My prayers go out to the families and all the impacted by what happened at Astroworld Festival. Houston PD has my total support as they continue to look into the tragic loss of life. I'm committed to working together with the Houston community and to heal and support the families in need. Thank you, Houston PD, Fire Department, and NRG Park for their immediate response and support. Love all. And and the comment section is pretty rough. I mean, like I said, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we saw some of the horrible things that happened, but I'm really curious to know if there was really somebody out there injecting, because I don't think that security guard's lying. Why would he lie? You know? Oh, is this the guy in the emergency? No, I don't know what this guy was on. It's common sense to move out of the way of an emergency vehicle. This man has no shame. I'm telling you, it's a different time we're in. Oh, let me get the super chats real quick and then we'll just watch this and then we'll end off. But yeah, I just wanted to pop in. Maybe I'll give some of my, I mean, one day I'm going to tell my crazy story when I'm fully secure on the online world. Make sure I don't have to go back to a regular job. Because then they pull up all my videos. Sister Sherry doing stuff. Kids should be able to go to concerts and enjoy the music of their favorite artists without dying. Yeah, should be able to. Things are just nutty now. C87 Baby. Thank you so much, C87 Baby, for the support. Almost 3,300 watching. Hit the like button, please. Thanks in advance. Thank you. Gracias. And we got Stephanie. Let's see what they had to say. I did see video though I mean, it's not funny. I don't know why I did that, but I did see video. I mean, it's just crazy to see because you see him and I'm assuming that he saw it, but there's this video circulating where he's standing on like this podium, like this thing that's like holding him out or something like up. And he's like, doing his little, whatever they call it. And he's looking into the crowd and there's somebody literally that's like, it looked like they were seizing or something and they're carrying out. And he's like, it looked like he was looking at them and singing and he just kept going. I was like, damn. Roxy Reyes. Thank you, Roxy. They said he was injected. The chief of police said he was given Narcan. Yeah, we just covered that. We'll probably get to it here again.
Let me start off by making some preliminary comments, and then I'll be followed by Judge Hidalgo, and Judge Hidalgo will be followed by Chief Fenner, and then Chief Pena, and then there may be a few others who may be offering some comments. I certainly want to acknowledge Congressman Al Green from the 9th Congressional District, who's standing with us. You know, last night was tragic on many different levels. And this is a very, very active investigation.
The number of people deceased I heard was 8. Last I heard, but those numbers are going to change, I think. I mean, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Because there's people in critical condition. They said the 10-year-olds in critical condition. So the last number I saw was 8. I saw some numbers floating around about 11. The confirmed number I saw was 8, but it's probably going to be fluid. You know, there's people in the hospital.
Investigation, and we'll probably be at it for quite some time to determine what exactly happened. Let me just cover a few things first. Based on our latest information, 8 people are reported dead from the event last night. In terms of their ages, one is 14, one is 16, 2 are 21 years of age, 2 are 23, 1 is 27, and 1 remains unknown at this time. So a total of 8 that are reported dead. 6 of the 8 family members have been notified, and we know that at least 1 is outside of Houston-Harris County, resided outside of Houston-Harris County. Based on last night, 25 were transported to the hospital. 13 are still hospitalized, including 5 that are under the age of 18. Based on the information that we currently have, no one is reported missing. So 0 persons are reporting missing. 4 of the 25 will have been discharged from the hospital. Let me just say, as it relates to what happened last night, as far as we are aware, I'm not aware of any incident of this kind that has taken place at any one of our special events, either on the county side, on the city side, pretty much in the last 40 years, where anybody has lost life. Now, we've had events where there may have been a crowd rush, or somebody had to be ejected, or maybe somebody has been injured, but nothing of this magnitude that any of us can recall, and certainly that I can recall, that has taken place in this city. This incident is being thoroughly investigated and reviewed thoroughly. It is important for us to ascertain from last night what took place, what happened, where missteps may have occurred, and in so doing, there have been conversations with, for example, representatives of Live Nation. We'll continue to talk to Travis Scott's people. We'll talk to as many witnesses as we can who were present last night. We are talking with individuals who have been hospitalized to try to get a much better understanding of what took place, what went wrong, where were the missteps. Certainly, HPD and other law enforcement organizations will be looking at as much of the video footage as possible to try to ascertain what took place. We'll look at the security plans themselves. We'll look at the collaboration that took place between the county and the city, even leading up to this particular event. As you know, NRG is a county facility. This is where this incident occurred, but it also occurred inside the city of Houston. So we'll look in depth at the collaboration between the two entities. In terms of personnel, and Chief Fenner can go into this even more, but let me just say preliminarily, we know that there were about 528 HPD officers that provided security for the event, and an additional 755 persons representing private security that Live Nation had.
No, I never went to a concert as a child. And I wouldn't bring my daughter to I mean, I can't see it now. I mean, she's under 5, almost 5. But no, I mean, back then, I mean, I'm sure everybody's different, but no, I wasn't at 5 years old, 10 years old. I wasn't going out to concerts with other people doing drugs and other people drinking and packed. No, my parents didn't think that was a good environment when I was a kid. I mean, like I said, things are different now. I mean, I don't know.
That was providing security at this particular facility. So there are a lot of, let me just say to you, there are a lot of unanswered questions. And over the next several days, several weeks, could be even longer, we'll take an in-depth look at everything that took place, why it took place, how we can, what steps we can do moving forward to mitigate an incident of this kind from taking place at any other point in time. Now, there are a lot of rumors on social media. Let me caution people not to buy into the rumors, okay? Because there are a lot of rumors. But nothing is left off the table in terms of persons who were there, people who may have fainted, or people who may, for whatever reasons, were transported to the hospital. There's a lot of conversation about people who crowd surge, all of those incidents, or whether or not anything else was involved. All of those things are being looked at, but it is way too preliminary now to draw any conclusions. But we're not taking anything off the table. This remains and will be a very active investigation. So with that being said, let me yield now temporarily.
Sorry, man. The trolls are crazy. I don't mind. I mean, somewhat depends because some of the things, but this is crazy. I mean, I saw it on Twitter too. People were going already with they were memeing Travis Scott.
To Judge Lena Hidalgo.
The 10-year-old, I see a lot of people talking about the 10-year-old. The only thing that I can confirm from what I'm seeing, this is just what I'm seeing. The number that I see of deceased is 8. I've heard other numbers flying around, but I'm telling you from multiple articles that I see now in front of me, they say 8, including the guy we're watching now, they say 8. Now, the 10-year-old, I haven't heard that he's deceased, or she. I don't know if it's a male or female, but I heard that they are in critical condition, you know? And there is this article that I pulled up as well where they were describing the event, and they were saying like it was like drowning in quicksand because people were just pushing, pressing, and like somebody said in the chat as well, like suffocating while standing up, like straight.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, and to all of the law enforcement professionals, first responders who have been part of a swift response. Thank you to them and to all the Good Samaritans, because we know that it could have been much worse if so many people hadn't stepped in. The events of last night were tragic beyond belief. This is an artist that we know has a following amongst young people, in particular, young people with bright futures. Those were the people that were at the event, went to have a good time, and no one, no parent, no friend, no sibling should see their loved one off to a concert by a world-renowned artist and not be able to expect them to come home safely. Yeah. And when we read these ages, 14, 16, 21, 21, 23, 23, 27, it just breaks your heart. And I know that the images we've seen are hard to stomach, and I imagine more will surface that are hard to stomach. Since late last night, I've been on the scene. I spent time at the Reunification Center talking to families, hearing their anguish. Those that didn't know where their loved ones were, sometimes it's harder not to know. And so I appreciate everybody's work, collaboration, trying to identify everyone. Our primary focus has been to support the City of Houston, to support the Houston Police Department, the Houston Fire Department, as they were providing the security for the event, as we were helping and leading the response. We have been at the Reunification Center. Our Institute of Forensic Sciences is responsible for identifying the victims. I was in touch with the Dr. Sanchez there, and they are working as quickly as they can on those autopsies so that they can release the bodies to the families and get some answers as to ultimately the cause of these deaths. Throughout the morning, I and my team have also been on the phone with all of the relevant county agencies, trying to untangle as much as we can about what may have led to this. The roles in particular that Live Nation, that the City of Houston, and that Harris County had in any of this. It may well be that this tragedy is a result of unpredictable events, of circumstances coming together that couldn't possibly have been avoided. But until we determine that, I will ask the tough questions, and that's what I've spent the morning doing. What I know so far is that Live Nation and AstroWorld put together plans for this event, a security plan, a site plan, that they were at the table with City of Houston and Harris County, with City of Houston agencies and with Harris County's NRG Park. And so perhaps the plans were inadequate, perhaps the plans were good, but they weren't followed. Perhaps it was something else entirely. The families of those who died and everybody affected deserve answers as to what took place last night. And that's why I'm calling for an objective, independent investigation as to what went on and how it could have been prevented, or if this was a particular situation that was simply out of everybody's hands. And I have directed county agencies to, as soon as we get that underway, cooperate, and I expect and hope the same for everybody else involved. As you all are aware, there was a similar incident in 2019 with AstroWorld. There was a breaching of barricades. There were some issues with crowd control. Actions were taken after that experience. There was stronger fencing, more and more robust barricades, more personnel and more security personnel. You guys heard the increase in the officers. 2019 had...
So this is an improvement from back then? Oh.
47 HPD officers. 2021 had 76 Houston Police Department officers. There was an increase in terms of private security, an increase in terms of event security. There was additional space for crowd control. But I want to know, and the community deserves to know, if more needed to have been done. So we'll focus on objectively
Oh, that was Live Nation as well? Ooh.
Finding out and reporting what happened, how it could have been prevented. And the public has a role here too. If you have any information as to what took place, let us know. Let the Houston Police Department know. Rumors, as the mayor said, that's not what we need, but there are some serious questions that need to be asked. So to the families, our hearts go out on behalf of Harris County. Our hearts go out to you, and just know that we won't give up on asking the tough questions about what exactly took place here. I'll repeat remarks in Spanish after everybody speaks. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Chief.
Jersey, no, I don't think so. I could probably find it if you could email it maybe to me.
Two things that I do want to acknowledge and offer my condolences to all of the families who lost loved ones, and to those family members who were injured. So I do want to do that, number one. I want to offer our condolences and our prayers to them. Secondly, I do want to acknowledge the quick response of the Houston Fire Department EMS unit. They had units that were already stationed around NRG Stadium, and they were able to step in immediately when reports of incident occurred. So to Chief Pena, to his entire team, to HFD, to EMS, I do want to acknowledge their very quick response. And then from the moment, for example, the reports were made known in terms of people falling, injured, let's say roughly at about 9:30, this event came to an end at 10 minutes after 10 is when everything stopped. And people were in between, either seen on the site or they were transported to area hospitals. So I do want to acknowledge the very quick response EMS units and the fact that this event did come to an end at 10:10. And we do want a very, will be nonstop in terms of the review of this particular matter. Now, Chief of Family.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Now, I see a lot of people talking about, is Travis Scott, responsible? My question too is, though, Live Nation, is it there? Like, I don't know how intertwined they are. I mean, I know they're doing the event. How much are they responsible as well?
Mayor said it. We want to send condolences to the family. Nobody, as everybody's hurting, our police department, our fire department, all our citizens. Nobody's hurting more than the family members. And all prayers go out to that. And I ask the whole nation, because I know it's other news medias here, not just local, to pray for the family. I want to go over a few things. Last night I put out some numbers in terms of security, police officers and private security. I gave the number of 367 police officers. That number was the number that we had assigned for the evening shift. We actually had 528 because we held over day shift officers. Live Nation has just reported to us that they had 755 security officers. A lot of security out there. But as everyone is saying, we leave no stones unturned. This has not happened to us ever in Houston since I've been a police officer, and we take pride of it. And we're gonna get down to the bottom. A lot of narratives out there right now, a lot of them, on social media, and even last night. I think that all of us need to be respectful of the families and make sure that we follow the facts and the evidence. And that's what we're trying to do here in the Houston Police Department. I will tell you, one of the narratives was that some individual was injecting other people with drugs. We do have a report of a security officer, according to the medical staff that was out and treated him last night, that he was reaching over to restrain or grab a citizen, and he felt a prick in his neck. When he was examined, he went unconscious. They administered Narcan. He was revived, and the medical staff did notice a prick that was similar to a prick that you would get if somebody's trying to inject.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing the whole 700 security that they had there. I mean, from all the accounts from other people. I mean, I would think, and again, I'm not a concert goer. I don't think I've ever even been to an official concert, and I don't know how the whole, and some of these other YouTube channels that really cover this stuff could probably speak on it better. But I would think that Live Nation is probably one of the biggest people responsible as far as security and things. But Illuminati. Are we back? Okay, I think we're back. I got cut off for a second. You check it here. Testing. Are we back? Oh, they got me, bro. The feds. Nah, not really conspiracy. It's just Comcast. Comcast really sucks. And when I switch, trust me, I'm going to be jumping from the hilltop. Next month, actually, I'm going to be switching my internet provider. So, but I think we're back. All right, cool. So let me not say anything too negative. Apparently, it causes issues.
That is one part of it. The other thing that's very important, there were some individuals that were trampled, and we want to be respectful of that. But we just ask that y'all give us time to do a proper investigation. Live Nation has stated from the very beginning that they would cooperate. They're going to give us the video sometime this evening. I spoke to my commander in homicide. So we're waiting to get that. That's going to help us. But I also want to call out to the community, kids and young individuals that was out there. If you've seen something, say something. This is now a criminal investigation. That's going to involve our homicide division as well as narcotics. And we're going to get down to the bottom of it.
Tara said, Live Nation, my husband works with them every day. They care nothing but to make money. Damn.
I
mean, I at a certain degree, I get that makes sense to make money, but then, yeah, liability. It's a huge liability if you're not doing the proper security. I mean, and the thing is too, like we were talking about, like it's you can't control people's individual actions, but like, yeah, having enough security, having people, medical staff to tend to people that are in need of tending. Like according to this other person, this nurse, if you have somebody there that doesn't know how to check a pulse, I mean, just to check a pulse, that's a problem. And according to somebody else that in the chat earlier, they only had 2 hydration stations, but this place wasn't filled to capacity. Apparently, they're talking about there was space for 200,000 and there was like 50,000. I mean, but it looked packed to me though. I mean, but I guess everybody just that's the thing too. People are just fantasizing and they're willing to kill and step over people and step on people, literally step over dying people and crush people to see their favorite artist. Yeah, that's it's crazy too, man.
I want to thank Live Nation and everybody else out there. There was cooperation. I also want to say thanks to our police officers. A lot of them administered CPR. Executive Chief Larry Satterwhite was out there. And something that was important, and the mayor just said it, but I want to hit it again. 9:30, right there. That's when a few people started going down. Our people stepped up and immediately went to the producers and told them, hey, people are going down. This show ended at 10:10 p.m. So I just want to acknowledge that. As far as arrests last night, 25 arrests, 23 of those 25 were trespassers. 1 possession of marijuana and 1 public intoxication.
That's it?
So we'll just
that's what they did. They arrested somebody with marijuana?
Intoxication. 25 arrests.
Oh.
23 of those 25 were trespassers.
Oh, okay.
1 possession of marijuana and 1 public intoxication. So we'll just open it up for questions after. Chief Pena, go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to first start by expressing my most sincere condolences to the families of the victims. This is an unimaginable tragedy that they are experiencing. And it's because of that we're committed to work with our partners, the police department and everybody else involved, in ensuring that this is a complete and full investigation into the cause of this tragedy. Know that the Houston Fire Department, we're going to be looking into the permits that were issued and ensuring that the plan that was submitted was adhered to during the event. This is going to be part of the investigation. Our commitment is to ensure that we are turning every stone, as was mentioned here earlier by the mayor, to ensure that we get to the bottom of this issue. The Houston Fire Department, we had a very robust contingency and emergency response plan. The primary medical component was delivered by a third-party medical company for the venue. The security was the same. It was a third-party company that was delivering the security primarily for that venue. In spite of that, we did have units that were pre-positioned from the Houston Fire Department to ensure that we were monitoring the progress and the event. From the time, as Mayor mentioned, from the time that the incident started to escalate around 9:30, we requested additional resources to the scene to augment those that were already pre-positioned around that venue. And this is important. Even though the plan did not require for that, we had pre-positioned units around the venue in case this incident escalated. From the time that the mass casualty incident was declared to the first unit on scene was 2 minutes when we began to make patient contact. That is an incredible response. And look,
it's just weird to me to hear all this, like, oh yeah, we responded so fast, we did this, we did that, everybody did a great job. It's not a great job. I mean, I'm not taking away from the people that went in there because they're out like numbered and or whatever, but this is not a good job. Why are we having a press conference about, hey, it was an amazing response time, we're there in a minute or two? This was not good. I mean, I guess they're trying to, like, I don't know. I guess they're trying to just clean it up or something. This is not good. This is not the time to be like, we did this, we did that, we did amazing. No, it wasn't amazing.
That can't go unnoticed.
The heck?
As far as the planning, we here in the city of Houston take these events very seriously. Public safety is our primary concern. The mayor has tasked us with ensuring that we have the resources and the plans and the contingencies ready for these events. We've done these before. I believe we had a robust plan for a non-event. Certainly, the level of injuries, the number of people in that venue quickly overwhelmed the third-party vendors that were providing the security and the medical component. We quickly were able to respond. In regards to the layout, there is no occupancy permit for an outdoor event. Okay, What the calculation for the footprint that was going to be used for the event, if we applied the assembly occupancy, the fire code assembly occupancy formula, they could have had over 200,000 people in this venue, okay? That's just based on math. This venue was limited to 50,000 in that component. Part of, when we have large events, one of the things that we consider is to ensure that the crowds are subdivided. They had 2 separate stages in 2 separate areas. That was part of the plan. We had inspectors to ensure that the means of egress, the doors in and out of that venue, were maintained open and unobstructed. Okay, these injuries did not occur as people tried to exit the venue, and that was evident by the fact that once the event was terminated, that whole footprint was cleared out within the hour, 50,000. So the means of egress, okay, the exits, the doors were kept open, unobstructed. That was our assurance. I
mean, we just saw the video where they couldn't get out. I guess that maybe the concert was still going on, but we just saw that's why those video clips. And you know what? I encourage people, upload those video clips to Twitter or wherever you're sending it to. Upload them, because we just saw the video clip, but these people couldn't even get out. They're literally pulling each other over the gate. I mean, we saw them first of all breaking in. Whatever group of people that was, breaking in, breaking down the gates. You know what I'm saying? Those people should be held responsible too. But at the same time, we saw people trying to escape, and they had people pulling them over the gate. I mean, we just saw that. You know?
What we're looking into is what caused the crowd surge, what led to the crowd surge and those incidents at the point of where the concert was being at, the stage. So again, our role in this is to participate with the police department. We are going to be looking at the films and the video as Chief Finner mentioned, and we're going to ensure that the items that should have been in place were in place and that we learned from this event. Really quick, Mayor, the permits that were issued for this were for LPG, and we had inspectors there to monitor that. We had a permit for the pyrotechnics. Inspectors were on scene for that. We had a permit for tents that were erected in the venue. We had inspectors for that. And we had inspectors for the permits for the means of egress, to maintain the means of egress, the doors in and out of that venue to be open and unobstructed, and we had inspectors for that. But again, we're going to be looking at the entire incident to ensure that that we're doing the right thing for these families. They deserve it. We owe it to them, and we're going to participate wholly. Thank you, man.
This is all for the lawsuits that are coming.
Muy brevemente en español, agradecerle primero al...
I guess we could skip forward now. I was a little surprised, man, because I haven't seen all this. I mean, I don't know.
The purse of the public.
Por your remarks, Mayor.
Thank you. I also want to acknowledge Councilman.
And I want to get to the questions part, because somebody in the chat said, like, when you get to the end, the questions are pretty good too.
I'm Abby Kamen, who's the chairman of the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee. Councilmember Kamen is present, and Dr. Purse is also here. And again, I too want to again thank HPD and all of the officers, as well as the Houston Fire Department. And then lastly, what I was saying, we'll take questions. Lastly, what I'll say is that whether an event takes place at Minute Maid or whether an event takes place at NRG Park in the county, which falls within the city of Houston, we want to make sure that all of the attendees are protected, and that we give them everything that they need so that they can attend and then go home safely. So having said all of that, any one of us can take any questions from anyone.
Mayor,
one at a time.
Could you tell us how many doses of Narcan were administered last night? How many people appear to be suffering some type of chemical
It's really low.
reaction? How many doses of Narcan?
How many doses of Narcan?
How many doses of Narcan were given last night? I guess in reference to the security or just in general.
Were any? I mean, was it apparent?
Yes, there were.
Chief, of the victims?
Yes, ma'am. So the number of Narcan administrations, we don't have that number. We do know that there were several, many instances where they did administer Narcan on scene.
I mean, I think that opening this up to a narcotics and a homicide investigation indicates that you're certainly indicating there's some suspicion that the drugs could have played a part.
What we are saying is we're not taking anything off the table. Everything is on, everything will be considered, everything will be taken into account. And until we look at medical information, talk to those who are hospitalized, talk to witnesses, we know that Narcan West was provided. We're going to take a look at everything.
So Chief, how many officers?
First, please, 2 weeks ago, we were on level red of risks for COVID-19. So, in first place, why did you guys authorize an event with thousands of?
Because it's all that stuff is just money. That's why. I mean, it's a joke because if people were losing their minds, I'm not going to go into it really, but if people were losing their minds, you know, outcasting people that are doing outdoor stuff, and now these people got hundreds of thousands of people, and all of a sudden, oh, it's okay, no, it's fine. I mean, I understand, you know, we got the thing now that's supposed to prevent whatever, but I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna into it because I don't want to incite the chat. But
people under these circumstances.
Well, bear in mind, we just hosted the World Series in the city of Houston. We had a lot of people there. This was an event that was outside as well.
Chief, how many of the 528 officers were inside
and people in the thing are saying it was a vax-only event.
among the crowd? And what's the difference in the amount of officers compared to 2019? What was the reinforcement like?
Much more officers. I'll get you the numbers. I don't have the exact
We don't know how many, but we just know it's much more.
assignments right now. I want everybody to realize we're not even 24 hours into it, and that's going to be part of our review and part of the.
And I hear, so maybe somebody could talk about this sometime, but I hear supposedly with these events, the whole vax thing, that's not even something they really look at. Like, I guess you're supposed to have some sort of the pass or whatever. From what I've heard from other people, and I don't know because I've never been, it's just to say, yeah, it's a vax event, but nobody's really fully looking at everything. You could just walk in there with whatever. That's what I hear. And clearly we saw the video of all these people just bum rushing the gate, breaking down the gate like it's a life or death situation, and watch Travis.
Investigation, because
which apparently turned out to be, you know, unfortunately.
do want to know exactly what happened.
But were the majority of officers or all of the officers within the crowd, or are we talking about somewhere outside?
The majority of officers are going to be inside.
You don't know the number, more or less, give or take, how many were compared to 2019?
Yes.
Was it in the hundreds?
Yeah, I doubt they're checking all that. I really don't even think they're looking at all this stuff.
Yeah, and I have some. Yeah, well, let me. Let me add something here. So we have some initial numbers here, and Chief will add what he receives later, but it is in the hundreds. So in 2019, what I have is there was 409 event security, 30 armed private security, and 47 Houston Police Department officers. In 2021, 47. In 2021, 505 event security, 91 armed private security, and 76 Houston Police Department officers. As to the question on the COVID, remember, our authority was stripped many months ago, and so we can't even require masks in Texas. So yes, go ahead.
Were there other reports of people feeling those needles, or was it just that security officer?
Right now we have that one, and we're going to move around. I know it's a whole lot of questions.
I don't even want to talk about that. They're just moving on.
Who's next? Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, whose responsibility was it to shut down the concert when a mass casualty incident was established? And then was it the promoters, the fire marshal? And then at that point, why was it not stopped sooner? There's about a 30 to 40 minute gap.
You cannot just close when you got 50,000 and over 50,000 individuals, okay? We have to worry about riots when you have a group that's young. I think that time that I gave you from like just a little bit after 9:30 to 10 minutes after 10 to get that closed down, and there was a cooperation and discussion between promoters, our fire department, the police department, and NRG officials. So I think that part was pretty good.
I hate to interrupt, but I was actually there last night. Yeah. The last song actually started at 10:10. I'm not trying to pick numbers, but there was quite a bit of time. In fact, there were people actually screaming for the show to stop. And there were people who were being administered CPR.
We'll verify the numbers. That's the numbers that the time I meant to say that I'm giving, and definitely in front of everybody. We want to be transparent and truthful, but we'll check that time. But let me tell you, let me finish, because this is important. If it was one more songs, concert songs mostly, it's a minute or two, so it's not significant. I think the significant thing is that we shut it down. Thank you. Next question.
How many,
Go ahead. Can you just a little bit? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yep.
I'm hoping to learn a little more about the officer, the circumstances around the prick that he felt, and how he's doing.
I don't have that information right now. We're still trying. There was just interviews from an investigator of the medical staff. We're still trying to locate that particular security officer. Okay.
Chief, who died, what can you tell us about their deaths? Were any of them trampled, or do you believe those were drugs?
We don't have all that information, and that's something that I don't want to speculate on. It's very important, and I said I wanted to be respectful of those families. I don't want to go any deeper on that until we get some facts from the medical autopsies and toxicology reports as well. Go ahead.
Chief, we're hearing that a 10-year-old is in critical condition right now. Is that correct?
That's what we have. Yes. Yes.
I wonder why they didn't mention the 10-year-old at the beginning of the press conference. They said all the other ages. They didn't say 10 at the beginning. Not that I heard of, which is kind of a little weird.
Go ahead.
Chief, how many were there? We're also hearing
EMS.
That they were not. If it was HFD or if it was a private company, that they weren't prepared.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, the venue, the medical component was being met by a private third-party contractor. They had doctors on scene, they had medical EMTs, they had volunteers. For a non-event, it would have been enough. But when the event started to escalate, we had to come in and augment their assistance, okay, their deployment. I can't say enough about the men and women of the Houston Fire Department. We went ahead and pre-planned, right, in anticipation for a contingency. That's the reason why we had units deployed around the perimeter and were able to respond so quickly. Again, it's 50,000 people, right? For a non-event, it would have been gone off. It's happened in the past.
Do you know how many were there?
Yes, we had 62 units that responded to this. We had, at some point, we had over 20 ambulances that were pre-positioned and ready to transport in our triage and treatment transport or area. Again, the coordination by the men and women of the Houston Fire Department on scene after the incident occurred and escalated was very robust. It was on point. I'm very proud of the work that they did, but certainly, we've been here before. Okay, we ensure that we're planning for a contingency, right? And in a non-event, again, this would have been just another normal major concert. But unfortunately, it escalated. That's what we're going to key in on. We're going to focus on what led that crowd to start to surge, and what were the issues behind that.
Chief, you said several. You said just to clarify.
I do, but I don't know that number. I'll get you that number.
Have you met with family members of any of the individuals who died
I'm sorry.
or are seriously injured? Can you tell us what and when the names are going to get released, do you think?
Well, number one, we want to make sure that all of the family members are aware. Now, 6 of the 8 family members have been notified already. 2 have not. So we want to be very, very careful.
Thank you.
Very careful with that.
Did you meet with any of
I have not met with them.
injured or the
Not at this time.
And Chief, you said several people were treated with Narcan. Just to be clear,
We
you
spoke
said
to some
several
families
people?
last night, but at that point we didn't know
More than a
whether their
dozen, give or
person, what was going to be the outcome of the person they were looking for. But that is key, is the autopsies are being conducted, and so we have to wait until those results get back. What our forensic sciences director was saying, some of the toxicology report they can do even without the body, so they'll release that, and then we are still trying to identify the 8th person. We know it's it's a male, but we don't know who it is, and then there is another person's been identified, but we don't know, we haven't found the family yet. So until we have that, obviously we can't release all the information.
What was the limit capacity for the event? Like, it was more people at the event than they planned to?
Chief Pitney, you want to respond? The
I'm sorry.
capacity, you said 200,000, but we limited to a quarter.
Can you repeat your question, please?
What was the capacity for the event?
Again, there is no outdoor venue capacity. What we did is we applied the internal assembly fire code and did the calculation based on that. It's very conservative. The capacity based on the footprint that was going to be used, they could have had over 200,000.
Damn. So they could have had. They're claiming they're saying they could have had over 200,000, and they're stating there was like 50,000. So they could have had 200,000, and what would that be like? Imagine what that would look like. That's what they're saying they were able to have as a. I mean, they're trying to say there was an event that caused all this, right? The surge or whatever it was. But imagine that place with 200K.
No. What I'm saying is that that's based on the math, based on the assembly fire code calculation. They could have theoretically had over 200,000 people, but it was limited to 50,000. And we verified that based on or we try to get assurance of that based on the number of ticket sales that they had. So again, look, it was a wide open venue. The plan included 2 separate stages to try to subdivide those crowds. But again, it was a crowd control at the point of the stage that was the issue, that caused the issue, especially as the crowd started to surge up towards the stage. So that's what we're going to be keying on in regards to the investigation.
When people broke
Yes,
in
ma'am.
at the entrance, why didn't you guys stop it?
Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
This is in regards to the EMS and also the private EMS that was there.
Right.
I know you can only comment so much, but we're being told only 1 defibrillator was there. I saw many EMS personnel performing CPR on several people
Right.
and trying to get through the crowd. So my question is, did they have enough even life-saving drugs like Narcan and also other types of equipment to administer right then and there on site, or were additional ambulances needed to come in? And then I just want to couple that with, we also saw them struggling to get through the crowd. Was it part of the contingency plan to have security maybe possibly move some of the people or try to help get to the people that need help?
So let me answer your first question first. All our units are completely equipped with all the life safety and life-saving equipment. They all have defibrillators. They all have AEDs at least, even the first response vehicles. So from our perspective, from the Houston Fire Department's perspective, we had the right equipment. I can't speak about the equipment that the third-party medical component had. I can't speak to that right now. But certainly, when we responded with fully equipped and prepared to assist. There is always an issue with access into these crowds, especially when there's a surge. We depend on and we work collaboratively with the HPD and the security forces or the security components that are there to ensure that we can gain access, but it's always an issue in these large events.
Let's get a few people that hadn't had the opportunity to ask any questions. Okay? Go ahead.
Chief, I think most of what the questions out there have been answered, but I have this. At a certain stage, when this event had not even begun, there was a breach of barrier and security units that were set up to check the people. At that point, if you had those many security people on site, why didn't they put that into consideration and try to see how they could mitigate or even stop that event?
What action was taken after that?
One question at a time.
It's the same
please,
question, just follow up.
Okay. Look, there are breaches. There are major breaches that shut down a program, a concert in this thing. That wasn't a major breach to me, okay? It was something that we quickly got under control. Do we like any breaches? No, we don't, but that's part of the whole reviewing process and us learning something from this incident. Just as the mayor said, we're not gonna cover up anything. We wanna look at everything that we did right, but more importantly, what was done wrong. Learn from it and move forward and continue to pray for these family members. One more question. You hadn't had one. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry. I'll get you.
Some of the concert goers have said that the barricades that were placed there prevent
I don't know. What do you guys think?
get out quickly. I don't know if that's what
Is that a major breach, or is that like? I mean, like I said, I've never been to these events and stuff, so I mean, I don't know. Or is this just like your everyday, average, normal breach that happens? And this is just. I know breaches happen all the time. Like I've heard of it. Like breaches do happen, but is this considered a small, normal? Whatever. We'll fix it. We'll get a hold of it. That's all right. I don't know. We didn't see the whole thing, but
That's not true. What I saw people get out. There wasn't a problem with that. And let me say, we'll look at it. But I haven't heard that, Chief. I don't know if you have. Yeah.
Yeah, again, right now, this is still in its infancy as far as the investigation. I know that the means of egress, the doors to get in and out of that venue, that was not an issue. You're talking about within the, yeah, so we're going to look at that as far as the design, whether the design was adhered to in regards to the layout, to the plan that was submitted. So all those things will be part of the investigation.
Chief, there are videos of people climbing up on stage to try to stop the artist from performing, telling the cameramen to stop. Like, are those people going to be questioned or held culpable, or can they be? Is it a matter of that time?
That's a part of it, and when we grab the video, if we see somebody that did something dangerous and broke the law or something, that's going to be something that we're going to address. But again, we don't get the video until
Yeah, let's hold the people accountable that try to stop and save lives.
sometime this evening or later on tonight. They promised us that, and once we get that and we have some time to go through it, at a later date, we'll update everybody. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Let me. Injecting multiple people with narcotics. Did that happen to multiple people? Is that what you guys believe?
It's just
Say,
not appropriate.
say it again. I'm sorry.
She's asking about the narcotics again.
I think it's way too early for that. Let me just say, we recognize we're not going to be able to answer everybody's questions right now. This remains a very active investigation. There are a lot of questions that still need to be answered. There are a lot of people that we need to talk to, security plans that we need to kind of thoroughly review in detail, talking with people from Live Nation, waiting on the medical reports. That will tell us a great deal. And at the same time, we want to be very, very sensitive to the families. When we're talking about people who were 14, 16, 21, 23, 27. And look, that's painful on any front. So we want to be very, very sensitive to that. It is important for the community to know that anytime you're invited to a venue, it is certainly everybody's responsibility to do everything that we can to keep them safe. And that's what we want to thoroughly review. So recognize there will be a number of questions. We're not going to be able to answer them all right now, but just know this whole process continues. Thank you all so very, very much. And pray for those who are in the hospital, and then pray for the family members who have lost loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you.
He said, yes, it could be. Live Nation and others could be held criminally liable.
We'll see.
But is a yes.
We'll see.
Okay.
It's gonna be some lawsuits flying out for sure, I think. I think I ended there. I don't know, man. Crazy event. Really unfortunate, man. And condolences to the families. And it looks like, I guess there's multiple entities, I guess, because you got Travis Scott, but I guess the people that held the event or are in charge of organizing the event, Live Nation. But then you also have, like, I guess, third-party security, I guess, that they hired, or third-party staff, I don't know. And then you have the city, I guess, and police and all this stuff, so I don't know, bro. But yeah, I don't think I'll be going to anything like this anytime soon. I go to the beach, have a bottle, chill, kick back. I don't even like to go to the busy part of the beach. I like to go to the quiet, secluded. Anybody that's been watching me, you know that. I like to just on the low. Well, what is There's people these days, people in general are just crazy these days, man. People got no kind of regard, no people. There's hit and runs all the time. There was somebody here in Miami. It was like a hit and run. Some woman got arrested, hit and run, and it was this young kid, hit and run, Miami. And it happens all the time. That's what surprises me about these people that are on the streets. And it wasn't with this guy. He was just jogging on the road. But these people that cross the streets without looking, you keep testing that. Good luck with that, because these people, especially in Florida, they're going to hit you and they're going to keep it moving. They're not going to stop. That's the type of time that we're on. Now, this situation, and I'm just kind of referencing this just to kind of talk a little about how, Because like this guy said, regardless of all the people that are going to be responsible or going to be held responsible, there's people too at these events, just common sense or just decency. You see somebody fall and you would think that, let me help them up. I was trying to pull up the article for this. Oh, and she bonded out. She hit a 17-year-old. Okay. This is the type of time that we're on these days. And I guess the bonding is a part of the, part of the system, I guess, but woman bonds out after being arrested in a fatal hit and run of a 17-year-old boy, Miami. Maria Rodriguez, 23. He was just jogging. The victim, Justin Rivera, a Southridge Senior High School football player. He had been jogging at the time. These people, you can't even really walk out. You can't even go for a walk. I try to go for my jogs and my little walk sometimes to try to get into some sort of shape, even though I'm, But I sometimes think about it too. Like I try to be cautious because these people, they'll run over the sidewalk and whatever. They'll hit you. I mean, you got to be really cold. Just imagine the type of person that you are. You could hit somebody, like literally hit them in your car and just be like, works, and just keep going. And you're out on bond. Just like that. People will kill you, not feel anything about it, and keep it moving. They kill your family too. They kill your kids, whatever. They're just driving and whatever, and they just hit you. But anyway, man, thank you guys so much for joining tonight. I appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind hitting like on the way out, let me just make sure I didn't miss any super chats. We are going to be on Discord tonight in a little bit on the members area. And we're just going to kind of kick back and not talk about crime or any of these horrible things that are happening. We're going to just have a little bit of fun because a little balance, Correct. Thank you for the super chat. There's a couple I missed. Paradise Lay. As a teen, I've been in many mosh pits and had slipped, and decent people grabbed me and pulled me up to my feet. My dad took me to my first concert at 13 years old. See, there's people that go at young ages. I mean, I guess if you're being supervised and stuff, I don't know. Like I haven't gotten to that level yet. My daughter, she's really young, but at that age, and my parents were strict. My mother was strict, Jehovah's Witness. So anybody that's Jehovah's Witness, you already know at that time, But I'm kind of thankful for the strict thing a little bit because nobody ever did anything to me when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to sleep over people's houses. I only had one friend that I could once in a blue moon sleep over, and he literally lived across the street. Like literally, like you can open your window and you see his house right there across the street. We could wave to each other. That's the only person that I could sleep over. And back then when I was a kid, I used to get angry. I used to be whatever. And, some people say you got to let your kids live. But at least to this day, for that, I'm thankful that nothing ever, nobody touched me or anything like that when I was a kid. But at the same time, man, you got to let kids go out and stuff, But I don't think I'm going to see myself doing that either, like the sleepover thing. I know a lot of people are liberal about that, in the sense of just letting them kids sleep wherever, whoever. I can't see myself doing that. C87 baby, my opinion, I believe with these people coming to concert, they're already lit. That's true. I'm sure a lot of people probably pre-gaming. That's probably what I would do. I'd probably pre-game, drink a little bit or something before I go in there. I mean, I couldn't, but these concerts are long though, right? Like I can't see myself. How long are these people in these concerts for? 6 hours, 10 hours? Or is it shorter? It's like 2 hours, 3 hours. I mean, I know some of these things are like several days and they're out there all day long. Sandy Randoms, what's up, iCkEdMeL? It's Sandy, Dill, and Barbara. Oh, awesome. Watching from Hollywood, Florida. Hey! Thank you for the super chat. I'm in Broward too. Thanks for the coverage. Thank you. I got a local story coming soon too that I was working on today. But yeah, no, different time, man. Different time. Everybody's doing things differently. My parents knew the 90s to the early 2000s were so crazy. They were strict. That partying stuff, man, I don't even think it's really worth it to go to these concerts. They're so expensive. They're overpriced. A bunch of people all over the place. I mean, you can't even breathe. You can't enjoy yourself. I would just go with a couple of friends somewhere and chill. Have some drinks or whatever it is you're doing. You don't have to be stressed out. People jumping on top of you. And the stuff these days now too, like back then, I don't know what it's like now, but I know when I had my little party phase, I was at the point where they were phasing out the real stuff and it was all synthetic. A lot of synthetic, things from China. People, I knew people that were ordering things from China, research chemicals, and they're just taking it to hope for a good time. A lot of the stuff nowadays too, it's not even what you think you're getting. It's not what you think it is. And that whole thing with the whole fentanyl, I mean, I don't know what happened at this place. We're waiting on a toxicology report. But fentanyl is so potent. The reason they buy this stuff is because you can buy a decent amount and all you have to do is like use a little, not even like it's dosed in micrograms. You could just use a small little thing and you can just make a bunch of pills or whatever. That's why they're doing that, to save money. But you're relying on that they're going to calculate and do it right. That stuff could easily kill you. Fentanyl could easily kill you. There's been cops. There was that one story where the cop, anybody remember that cop that he went to he removed it from somebody or something. I think he just breathed it in or he just touched it or something and he passed out. Somebody else saved his life. Cop fentanyl. That was crazy. That's how potent that stuff is. Let's see where it's at. Yeah, here it is. And that's what they're putting in these pills. And some of the times that's what they're putting in these pills now. Cops, fentanyl. Because they're looking to save money. Well, now they're saying they don't even know if it was really fentanyl. They're saying he actually touched it. We'll see. Let's see real quick.
Of a sheriff's deputy falling down after briefly handling fentanyl. But some medical experts are not sure this is for real.
It's dramatic body cam video of a deputy sheriff collapsing to the ground. He and his partner were making a drug arrest.
My bad. I lost my screen. Oh, there it is.
When he suddenly has trouble breathing.
I got you, okay? I'm not gonna let you die. I'm not gonna let you die.
The deputy was believed to be suffering from an accidental overdose after being exposed to the deadly opioid fentanyl.
I need Narcan!
His partner began administering Narcan, a medication that works like magic to block the effects of an opioid overdose.
Fire department got there, put him on the gurney, his eyes rolled back in his head, and he started to OD again. And he was ODing the whole way to the hospital.
The San Diego Sheriff's Department released the footage to warn against the dangers of fentanyl. Fortunately, the deputy survived and made a full recovery.
I'm Deputy David Five-Eye, and I almost died of fentanyl overdose.
But now the
carfentanil is even stronger, right?
Video is being met with skepticism by some medical experts who say it is impossible to overdose on fentanyl simply through airborne exposure.
I can tell you with essentially 100% with surety that this was not fentanyl poisoning. When people get fentanyl poisoned, they don't just collapse like that. And not moments after an exposure.
He says the deputy's reaction was likely caused by stress, not the drug itself. And while the PSA was well-intentioned, Dr. Lewis Nelson warns the misinformation could be harmful if police hesitate responding to similar.
Canceled. It's canceled. So I heard about this a long time ago and I never checked up on it again until now. Now they're saying fake news, fake story. I'm like, what? He just passed out from stress? Bruh, I don't even know. I don't know anymore.
That they're not going to respond to somebody who actually needs medical assistance because they're fearing risk to themselves.
I'm not going to let you die.
Sheriff's Department says the video was an actual incident and that the substance did test positive for fentanyl.
Bro, so who knows, man? Who knows? But that stuff is super strong and it can kill. But now they're saying this, bro, I don't even know anymore, man. It's weird to look back on certain things that you were told, right? Almost like when you look back at when you were a kid, things were told. You look back at some of these stories and you're like, whoa, it's not, what? It's not what really happened? But anyway, but yeah, I'm going to get out of here, man. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Please hit like and subscribe. Turn on the bell notifications. Same case at BS. My uncle died from fentanyl. It's very deadly. Sorry to hear that, man. I've known people that have told me they were addicted to like the patches. You know what I'm saying? People used to get the patches. There's all kinds of formulations for it. It's super strong, super deadly. I used to make it because I used to work in pharmacy. I used to make the IVs, and it's literally dosed in micrograms, like smaller than a milligram, like micrograms. That's how strong that stuff is. Trucker Beetle Bailey, thank you for the super chat. It wasn't airborne. He touched it. Okay. When that happened, Astro was canceled 100% for today. All right. Thanks. Appreciate that information. Yeah, it'd make more sense that he touched it. I don't know about inhaling it. Or maybe he was on it. Maybe he was taking it himself. And that's the story they spun. Maybe he was taking, I don't know. I'm just saying. But thank you guys. And thank you, mods. And thank you, Zaname. Thank you for all the... Zaname hooked me up with some gear. For the people that are watching, I have an address if you want to send stuff in the mail. So she hooked me up with some NASA stuff. She's affiliated with them. So I got like all this. I got shirts, got a coffee mug, got stickers, got a pen somewhere. Really nice stuff. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Super kind of you. Got that in the package yesterday. But yeah, we'll be on Discord tonight, man. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Take care. Peace. I said that 5 times. Peace, peace. Love you. Peace. And one day I'll tell my story, the 2010 story. If I'm cemented on the online thing, which nothing's ever 100%, but if I'm cemented, I'll tell the 2010 story. The 2010 story of stuff, substances, and acid. My first and last acid experience. So, but yeah, good night. Peace.